in my business.
You've got mail.
You've got mail.
Saturday, huh?
Saturday what?
Saturday.
Ooh.
Still cry when we fight. Still dream about you and I. Still check my phone every minute. Even when I think I respect it. Still text it goodnight. Even when we ain't alright.
Welcome back to the Saturday Move Podcast. We here with Sheemie Dubb,
J.Walts.
We in there.
Back with music.
You already know, baby. We here full effect.
It's good to see y'all again.
For real. I'm gonna be honest, like the way we be hitting it, I'm tired. You wouldn't know how I was right before we started filming, but none of that is important.
Big facts.
Because we here, right?
Yeah.
Jumping right into it now. First, welcome back. How you been, bro?
Yeah,
what's going on? What's going on? Everything.
And believe it or not, these days we getting together to film it. Sometimes it be like 4 days since we seen each other.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, because like we busy.
So
We
don't see each other.
Yeah,
we haven't been seeing each other. We're both busy. We're both in school. Both married. Both hitting it to make sure that this is doing something. You about to go pick up?
I'm about to go pick up Nala and Kassan. My kids, they live in Mississippi with their mom. Our other kids. So we gotta go pick them. I gotta go pick them up on Saturday. I don't even think Nala's aware that I'm popping up at her dance recital.
You do her mom? Oh, you doing one of those? It's
so my mother's gonna pick me up.
Oh yeah.
My ex-wife gonna pick me up from the airport at 8 in the morning on Saturday. Her dance recital is at 11, and I'm pretty much gonna spend the day with them.
Let's go.
Spend the day with the.
Let's go. Co-parenting is not an easy thing, man.
A new baby.
Is this gonna be the first?
No,
baby sister.
Baby sister.
Baby sister, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she did have a girl.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So it's a lot of good stuff happening, man. Like growth is crazy. And
what does that feel like, bro? I mean, like we've been traveling. We coming from New York, Texas, Atlanta, and now you about to head out to Mississippi on a flight again. I'm do not like planes. I don't like planes.
It's annoying. I'm thinking about flying and long flights, and then the layover that I got coming back is crazy. So I'm gonna try to use my service member strength to get a new flight.
I'm not gonna lie, dropping over here to Cali with you and Hazi,
that was
hated that, bro. I'm not gonna lie, and I said I will never do
that differently.
But as much flying as I've been doing, I don't think I mind the drive if it's done the right way.
We definitely got to do that differently because, we were cramped up in the U-Haul.
I can't be doing that. I don't like that. That pissed me off, and it was like my whole flow of shit.
We were cramped up in the U-Haul. And it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. So
if it was two people in that U-Haul, I think it would have been fine. But the three thing, and then
it was 3 of us in the U-Haul from Northern Virginia to California.
That was almost 3 days, bro.
It was 2. We left.
Nah, it was almost 3 days, bro.
Tuesday evening. We left. No. We left Wednesday evening because it was late. No, we left Tuesday evening. Tuesday evening was all of Wednesday, all of Thursday. We got back early Friday afternoon.
So almost 3 days.
Almost. So we got back fast. But we were tired because more to do this.
That's great. But but I've been good. School is his first. The first course is ending.
Yes, sir.
Pretty light, dope. I like all that. It's really in alignment with everything that we studying.
Right.
But I'm you know me. I like to jump right into it.
Yeah.
I don't think we touched on how your week was. We talked about how we don't get to see each other.
Yeah.
How you been?
So my week was good. Like, a lot of growth. Anytime I get good lessons, good life lessons, and take a step forward. My week started down because I was beefing with the wife. But once you take those, once you sit back and look at the big picture, and you start taking in lessons and taking in, you know, you just start growing. You're growing. That's what it's all about. It's growth. I think it was great. So I learned what my dichotomy. I learned what my dichotomy is, right? And I think that's probably one of the biggest parts of my week because it's going to. I posted on Instagram too, by the way, but it's going to shape shift the way I see my life and see my actions. It's crazy. So my dichotomy, right, is logic versus chaos. Logic versus chaos, right?
Well. First, you said how the dichotomy is going to help you.
Yeah.
How?
So I think that it's going to help me because it just makes you aware of your thought process. You have two things to compare and contrast. You have I see the dichotomy as I know the definition is like two things that compare and contrast that we can kind of see like war and peace, like opposites.
Yeah.
But like it's not just a compare and contrast; it's the route I can take in my thought process,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So like when I'm when I'm facing a situation, right, I'm either going to go left war, I'm going to go right peace. I have two options.
So
right?
you talking about that brings me right into because you brought up beefing with your wife, right? I was beefing my wife yesterday,
Yeah.
and I this is just interesting because we talking about this real time because we came up with this dichotomy shit.
Right.
We was talking about it on the meeting with Hazi earlier, but
Right.
what I failed to do, and it's something that I've been practicing, so it's a little bit more embarrassing, I think, is this morning I failed to put the situation up against my dichotomy because that's why you get it, so you can use that as your lens.
Right.
We have so many
Right.
choices on what to do, but if you just put it up against your dichotomy, you're arguing with your wife, right?
Right.
So my dichotomy is facts versus feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is I want to be with my wife for at least 30 years. That's the first milestone.
Okay.
The feeling is I'm upset right now, right?
Right.
Upset about what there's work to be done. The fact is so we're not about to argue.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But there's so many times I want to choose my feelings, which will base anxiety, depression, all of these negative emotions
Right.
or emotions that are deemed to be negative by society.
Right.
And then now we argue because I didn't want to put it against my dichotomy, or I did, and I just chose feelings.
You chose to
instead of the
right.
facts. So
Right.
so now with you, because I really wanted to, I really like your breakdown. We've been talking about dichotomies for a couple
Facts.
of weeks. So the way you break down
Right.
logic versus chaos, because I
Right.
told you logic could be chaotic to me too.
Right.
If you like, you don't have no emotion, but
To me, it's
touch on that, bro.
So mine's is logic versus chaos, right? So I define logic. This is my logic in my dichotomy is utilizing knowledge and experience to navigate through relationships and situations. So logic is me taking a step back when I'm presented with a situation. I'm taking a step back. I'm utilizing my thought process of that person, my knowledge of that person, right? What that person's going through, what that person's been through. I'm using the knowledge of me, myself, the traumas that I have, how I'm triggered in this moment. All those things I'm using before I start the reaction, before I react. So it's more so before I react. I'm using this logic, the things that I know, the knowledge, the experience, the things that I've been through with this person, or even if I haven't been through with this person, the little that I know about this person, and if I know nothing about this person, i.e. in a work situation, the things that I know about myself.
Because that's when you got to set the boundaries.
Right.
You got to let them know.
Because then I got to set a boundary.
Right.
But it's also going to determine how I react. If I don't use the logic,
right.
If I don't start thinking before I react, which is simple, we teach little kids.
Yeah.
Think before you react, right? If I don't start thinking before I react, then I use chaos. From the projects.
So now chaos. The other half. Talk to me about
chaos. Now I strictly adhering to how you feel in the moment. not focusing on the small details that lead to breakdowns. So if I'm encountered with a situation, I didn't think about how it triggered me. I didn't think about my traumas. I didn't think that, hey, I'm at a 10 because I went through this. Or this person that I know, right? I.e., my brother, my wife, or my kids, this person that I know spoke to me like this because they've been through this. So I didn't do any of that. I just heard the initial comment or whatever, the initial grievance, whatever, and I reacted. I spazzed out. I was emotional. I got angry. It controlled and it weathered my day, weathered my week.
You didn't do any of that logic. You didn't do any of that thinking.
So logic versus I chose war.
That takes time. The logic part. Would you agree that the logic part is harder than choosing the chaos?
Yeah. That takes time. That takes discipline.
Right.
That takes a mindset of I want to be better in the way I react. You talk about we have to watch our reactions, learning your dichotomy, right? And I believe your dichotomy can become in different contexts, right? But we're learning our dichotomy as far as how we react to people and to things and to situations, right? Excuse me. Learning your dichotomy in that context is gonna fix you in the way you react. It's gonna help you hold yourself accountable. Like me sitting down for that 15, 20 minutes and really thinking like, what is my dichotomy? Where do I want to start? I want to look at my relationships. The first relationship you need to look at is the closest or most important relationship to you.
Which is?
The marriage.
No.
For us, it's
hold on. Stop. Check this out. The relationship with self. Because you teach it.
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
That goes without saying.
Of course. Yes.
Because you got to know yourself before you can teach somebody else. There's a lot of work. The reason why I say marriage,
right? The reason why I say marriage, he's right, absolutely. With self, that's the most important relationship because that determines how everything is going to work. If I'm real with myself, if I look into myself and I identify my traumas, I can create boundaries, I can communicate with people, I can do all that stuff, then I'm building healthy relationships. So it's just a great result. Now, the first relationship I look outside of myself is my marriage because now I'm looking at how I react to people I care about.
Yes.
The most important person in my life is my wife.
100%.
So I need to see, right? If I think that I'm pretty well put together. I think that I love myself. There's probably some things that I could work on, but I'm just saying right now, I'm better than I was 5 years ago as far as me in terms of myself, the relationship with myself.
If I may, I think this is where things get real, and I'm glad that me and you are on the same page now because it's all about that introspective part. You said that we've been doing a lot of critical thinking, and what that meant to me is, critical thinking on self and who we are as people.
Just everything.
Right? So now that we've been talking about our reactions and how we act, and you said the most important person, yes, first self, but let's move out from there and we're talking about our wives. I agree with you, the most important. But now that you can see your reaction, right? How often have you picked chaos when you're dealing with your wife, and how does that make you feel? You understand what I'm saying? Because we need to get to the point where you understand that when you pick this part of your dichotomy, what it actually does to you.
Fellas,
how does that make you feel, and then why does that make you change?
My fellas out there with this problem, because we both got this problem. We're pretty chocolate, handsome, well-built dudes.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
that's right.
When we leave the house, me and my brother here, when we leave the house, we get a lot of attention from a lot of different women as far as looks, so we don't need to have conversations.
Why you always lying?
But that gives, I'm using this as an example. That gives our wives a little bit of anxiety, right? At the end of the day, we all have a little bit of anxiety. It's okay to have. It's not insecurities, it's anxiety. So when we think of examples of how I can refer to my dichotomy and how I could do things better, right? So I go out. If I go out, I tell my wife, hey, I'm going out tonight. I'm going to go out with my boys. We're going to have a couple drinks. or we're gonna go to a club or a bar, right? Now, her reaction is because she know I'm a chocolate god. You know what I'm saying? Her reaction immediately is some type of anxiety, right? And she could trust me from here to the end of the world, but it's just the fact that I'm in an environment where the temptation is put in my face.
All right, so me and you, we talk, right?
Yeah.
So I'm following you. So you talking about how you about to talk about how
I'm talking about how I factor in my dichotomy.
How you didn't choose.
Yeah,
or
how
didn't
I
choose.
how I
Yeah.
did or didn't choose, right? Because your question was how don't you choose, right?
How often have you picked
How
chaos
often
instead of logic? And how does that make you feel?
This situation has come up plenty of times in my relationship because I've been out plenty of times, right? And there's times where I choose the logic,
Right.
and there's more than one time that I choose the chaos, right? The chaos is she has anxiety, and I'm like, hey, basically, get over it. You know what I'm saying? Get over it.
Because you want to have fun right now.
Right. I'm doing like trust me, get over it. Instead of thinking about her traumas, thinking about how she's triggered, these things that I know. Remember I said the things that you may know, right?
Right. What hits me is how often, when I look back at it, even today when I had that conversation with you and Hazi, how often I pick the feelings part instead of the fact part.
Right.
Like I know that I knew this morning that I was in my bag. I knew that I had an attitude. I thought it was justified. I thought she was wrong in the moment, but I also knew that 30 years was the first milestone. So it's like, what weighs heavier for you in that moment, Marv? The 30-year milestone or arguing with your wife and possibly having a bad morning that can create a crack in your foundation that will, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and this morning I picked a crack in the foundation.
Right.
Ultimately, that's what it is at the end of the day.
Right.
And that hurts because it's like, what do you want for real?
Right.
I ask that question a lot. What do you want? And in those moments, who cares how you feel if you feel weak? So just because you're weak, just because you're tired, just because you have an attitude, do you not want to be married anymore? So if that criteria didn't make you not want to be married anymore, then tighten the fuck up, bro. And that hurts my feelings when I hurt my wife's feelings because I'm tuning in with my feelings instead of sticking to the hardcore facts.
Indeed.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I said, how often have you picked chaos? Because I know and I consciously see when I pick feelings and that shit hurts, bro.
I can see it when I can see it coming when I'm picking chaos.
You can see it coming. And what happens
then? You gotta be honest with yourself. That's why searching for your dichotomy is so fucking crazy.
Yes.
Because you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta be honest with yourself because you're sitting there saying like, all right, this is my dichotomy. And then once you identify it, what the fuck you gonna do with it? Nah, for real. Like why you taking the time to identify it? Just to tell somebody? Right?
What are you gonna do with it?
So once I identified it, I sat back and I reflected. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, I choose chaos this many times. So then once I figured that out, I'm like, what does it feel like when I choose chaos? And what does it feel like when I choose logic? And then you gotta refer back to the most important relationship outside of myself, my marriage. So I'm like, oh shit. When I use logic, conversations go like this. Conversations go like this, and then sex goes like this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, oh shit. When I do chaos, conversations go like this.
Right.
And then sleep go like this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
sleep hygiene.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Sleep go like this. Sleep go on the couch. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, all right, so what leads up to it? Now let's think about what leads up to it.
And who controls that?
It's my reaction.
Sure.
Big positive. And that's what sucks about being accountable because let's be honest. This is a rabbit hole we're about to go down. Let's be honest. Sometimes you enjoy your reaction.
Yes.
It's a fail safe.
It's comforting.
It's the emergency stop button.
It's comforting.
It's the emergency stop button.
100%.
Sometimes you sit there and be like,
100%.
I reacted like this, but fuck it. And I did it because there's nothing you can tell me.
That's what I was saying this morning, bro.
But you know why don't be embarrassing? Because there's two niggas like us sitting here going over this, but there's 100 million people in the world not doing the comedy.
But that's why
100 million people in the world standing next to each other like, you acted like that? Yeah, that's regular shit, bro.
No,
Me and my girl got into it the same way.
That's why we
gotta
be
different.
I
left that bit. That's
yeah. Yo, my wife works with somebody. My wife works with somebody right now, and the dude broke up with his wife. The dude's wife broke up with him because he cheated. And he's sitting there crying about how he wants to get back with her. Meanwhile, he's sitting there dating a whole bunch of other women. He was in Mexico last week. He has 2 kids, and he's complaining about how he can't see his kids, and all he got to do is get right. So I go back to saying, what is it that you really want?
Bro, I come from an organization. I work in an organization where they be like, people get married no matter what age. Well, you got married? You fucked that up. What did I fuck up? Tell me something different.
What do you want? You say you get your dichotomy. You figure out your dichotomy for what? What are you going to do with it? After the Saturday accountability meeting, you getting yelled at, you getting held accountable. What you about to do after that?
Mm-hmm.
What happens after? We all going to school. We all reading books. We watching TV. And then nothing happens. There's no exchange. There's an influx of information, nothing coming out. And then after a while, you got to realize that there's no more information is going to be able to be received because you just stagnant.
Right.
I keep trying to get back to people being still. We have to exchange. There has to be some sort of it. I was looking for that word last podcast. There needs to be an exchange going on. There's no exchange. Everybody just want to hold on to what they got. That's that scarce mindset. Nobody is operating in the state of abundance. Because when you got and you know it's coming, I'm gonna get it.
Right.
Because I know it's gonna come back. But so many people don't have and they don't know how they got where they're at that they holding on to every last piece of it.
Right.
Holding on to every last piece of it makes sure that you won't get more. That's what I'm trying to let you know. You know, not you, but I'm holding on to every last piece. You're not gonna get more because there's no more room.
Right. I mean, like reflecting on. Yeah, we talked about reflecting.
This is real shit.
But reflecting on.
You talked about it being repetitive, so repeat it.
Reflection is repetitive. But reflecting on dichotomy, when you learn your dichotomy, you have to watch who you're around.
Yes.
You have to watch who you're around. You have to. That leads me into respecting my space and who I'll let in my space.
That goes back to you talking about the most important relationship is the relationship with yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
Once you love, respect, and cherish
yourself, your mindset, your growth, then like I'm not gonna just let anybody in my circle. They used to get me tight when they used to be like, oh, when I find a man, he just better know what I want to eat, when I want to go this, do that. Yo, bro.
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
You don't know what you want.
Right.
How is he can have A1 ideas that 10 out of 10 other women would definitely like, but you down every time. You gotta figure out what you want.
You better find out what I want.
Excuse me?
It's Tuesday. I think this bitch won't run.
But then that goes back to a different problem that you was talking about when we talk about or we was talking about when we talk about women not being raised with fathers and men not being raised with fathers. Fathers not being in the household. I'm not saying it's always on the men.
Relationships.
Yo, bro.
You got a lot of women and men.
So the man don't know how to be a man. The woman don't know how to be around a man because she ain't never seen one. And now we just sitting here acting out things that we seen on TV.
And now we're not even just. It's not even just a woman and a man relationship. Anybody, woman and woman. Man,
facts.
Those daddy issues is daddy issues.
Oh,
those mommy issues is mommy issues. That's it. It don't matter who you with. It's gonna affect
So how long do we wait for it to affect before we say, God damn, this shit is tiring? Like, this hurt. Like, I'm tired of like putting my hand on the. When does it get to the point where it's like, I'm all right now? I need to change.
Right. And I feel like nowadays it's 2023. I'm gonna be honest. These kids know they got mommy and daddy issues before they even 20.
Yeah, they know now. They know now.
Earlier.
The information is out there now. The information is out there now.
Information's in your face.
Yeah, for sure.
They force feeding you the information. As bad as people say social media is, or technology is for the brain. There's some information that's right there.
Yes.
That's right there. There's some good shit right there that we ignoring.
The more and more I dive into this IT class course thing I'm doing, the more I realize like we can use technology to our advantage. We just don't. Like there's so I remember they talked to us about bread and circus. I will never forget that. Mr. Buczynski, this was in the 11th or the 12th grade, but he was like, bread and circus.
I don't remember Mr. Buczynski.
Yeah. Bread and circus is basically when they was in Rome or whatever, they in the Coliseum, they in this stadium, and all of the what you call them people that we are part of the government, we the people.
Politicians?
All of the people, not us, regular motherfuckers. Like all of the people are sitting there in the Coliseum watching the battles or the lions, and they getting fed, and they call that the bread and circus because outside of the walls of the Coliseum, there's chaos. But as long as we keep them fed and entertained, we don't have to. They're not going to worry about the chaos, and that's exactly what goes on today. You understand what I'm saying? There's so much chaos going on, but I talk from the sweets to the electronics to the women, the access. As far as men, the access to women nowadays. There's so much. There's so much choices. There's so many choices now that there's nothing that you can really focus on. So back to you saying we need to figure out what your dichotomy is. Because then all of those choices, you put it right there on that lens.
Right.
Facts versus feelings, chaos versus logic. Which one, what life do you want? And then put that situation on this.
And dichotomy, figuring out your dichotomy falls in the realm of self-love.
Absolutely.
So I went on a journey. I figured out how to respect and love myself. I figured out my traumas. I figured out my traumas, and then I learned how to create boundaries. And then I figured out my reactions.
Something you spoke about, and you come up with a lot of gems. We working on something for your cousin, right? And you said, yo, we can't jump straight into trauma because the first thing you have to do is change your mindset. So if we go back to my argument with my wife this morning, right? And like I said, when you see how you react is egregious, is embarrassing, right? So when I go back and I look at that, right, she was like, she said your thought process is just so fucked up. She was like, I was like, yeah, but you knew that, and da 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 da. She was like, yeah, but you work on everything else. She said, why don't you have a Saturday's thought process? And I took out my phone and I texted right to her, and I'm like, I'm still mad at you, but I don't have no ideas. This don't make sense, but. And then she was like, and then after we calmed down a little bit, it's like, didn't you say something about Saturdays change your mindset? It's the same thing. It's synonymous. So even me, I jumped straight into the trauma part, right? And I understand all of that. And I did the work as far as changing my mindset, not necessarily intentionally, but over time it just happened, right? It was time served, right? But I didn't intentionally change my mindset. So we got to change our mindset before we can move on to doing the trauma, the boundaries,
You have to.
It's steps.
You have to. It starts with making a choice.
You have to.
Changing your mindset starts with making a choice.
It starts with making a decision, right? The dichotomy is decision. Mm-hmm. Choices are plenty. The dichotomy is when you finally decide what are you going to do, who are you going to be, what it is that you want.
But the dichotomy doesn't start with the choice.
What you mean?
The choice is either continue on the path that I'm going, or the choice is I want to change the path that I'm going.
I feel like we're talking about semantics right now.
I want to love myself. I want to understand myself.
So when I look at choices,
made a choice to go down that path of loving, understanding, identifying trauma, boundaries, dichotomy, all that shit.
So when I look at choices as the many things that I can do at any given time, and the many things I have the access to. When I feel like a decision is something that you choose to stick to. I decide that I'm going to drink water for the rest of my life. You understand what I'm saying? For me, you could use choose too, but when I look at choose as many because I'm like I could decide the many
So this
different.
is how I see
Yeah.
choose. This is how I see choose. So you got two roads, right? You got the road of no self love, no learning yourself, and many different things of that we would consider negative, right? So no growth. Just continue down this road. I'm gonna do whatever, right? And then you got this road of growth, self love, identifying trauma, identifying boundaries, dichotomy. Like everything we do in Saturday Who, everything we do in our accountability meetings is one road, right? So you make a choice to switch lanes and go into this road, and you make a choice to stay on that road. And the decisions are just connected in everything that you learn to figure
So
out.
we looking at it two different ways
Yeah.
because decision,
But
the decision for
ultimately-
me, the decision is that way, and there are many choices.
Ultimately, it ends to the same flagpole.
Yeah,
You know,
but that's semantics, and I would say that's one of the things that we won't agree on because you decide to go this way. You don't, you know what I'm saying? And then there's many choices. You,
Right.
you don't choose to go this way. There's many decisions.
No, I
That
understand
don't
what
make
you're saying.
sense.
I decided, but decide is past tense. Choice is now.
Like I said, we're gonna agree to disagree
You
on
like
this.
the way that sound.
Yeah, I do.
You like the way that sound.
Yeah, it
You
makes
like
sense.
the way that
But
sound.
what I say makes sense too. And the most important relationship is the one with yourself. So I'm gonna stand by me. I'm gonna stand by mom.
But you need to
Nah,
make the
stop.
choice to love yourself now. How we arguing with semantics?
I agree. So like,
what you're saying too.
I agree with what you're saying. I feel like we just have to agree on what we want to call it. You understand? Because we are saying the same
Groceries?
exact thing.
Shout out to our producer.
I got something here that I wanted to read to you. Right. So it says I'm gonna have Miranda print up all of these if we like it or whatever.
Who's Miranda?
I have no idea to be completely honest.
Huh?
For who?
Them to hear who Miranda is. You got a big
Miranda Cosgrove, iCarly. She was one of our. What happened, bro?
Miranda is his wife.
Miranda's my wife. What are you telling about this? I'm something that I'm uncomfortable with. Let's be vulnerable. I don't like exposure. All of this right here, not comfortable with it.
Mad exposure.
But it is what it is.
But he deserves it.
I deserve that.
So for you millions of Saturday Who nights that's watching this right now, he deserves it.
I have anxiety.
He has a mindset that's different from tens of millions
Oh,
of hundreds.
shit.
The fuck you trying to do? You trying to break
My
something,
fault.
nigga?
Alright.
You need a
straight
team.
up for the team.
I don't know where we got away from it takes a village, but it takes...
You mean in society, right?
In society.
How they got away from that?
How we got... How in society. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because I talk in riddles. But in society, we got away from it takes a village. And I'm not just talking about kids. But I remember hearing stories from older people like, if I did something crazy in my neighborhood, my neighbors catch me, they spanking me, they send me my parents, they let my parents know my parents spanking me. You know what I'm saying? So those are good neighborhoods. It takes a village. Right? So like with anything we do.
Talking about with Hazi earlier with the agriculture part of the village too.
Bro, this is some of our goals, right? And I can say this because this ain't, if you take it, you take it. Good.
Heck yeah, please
take it. Do it. Do your thing. We talking about getting to a point to where we getting land, different states, right? So of course it takes the tangible money, right? But
shout out to Kim Schwab. Get your financial information from her. You heard?
But we talking about getting to a point to where we buying land and we having gardens and we eating from our own garden. Right. We having farms, right? And if we choose to eat meat, we eating from our own farms.
But what about the payment for other goods and like how do you get foods that you don't have from other people?
How do you?
You trade what you have. Not for real. Like, cause this money thing would like
Blood,
at this point, right now, we just have a card in our pocket and they tell you how much is on according to how long you worked and the pay grade of what. You don't even see the actual dollars no more.
Music,
nor is the actual dollar
Saturday,
backed by the gold.
all this shit is a segue to lead to how we take care of
you know how many people is scared?
Sheemie Dubbs and J.Walts.
You know how many people is scared of this new AI movement? Because they are not creative. They don't create shit. They just do. You understand what I'm saying? A computer will never be able to
sit backs and doers. I bet you those are most of the same people that don't know they dichotomy either.
100%.
I could tie this shit to everything.
Everything is all connected, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But like we getting to the point to where we planning out, and it ain't we planning out to where it ain't tomorrow's goals, but it's goals to where we got farms and we got gardens and like the thought process is on a higher fucking level.
Yo, bro, I asked y'all about 3 weeks ago. I said, yo, what's some of y'all plans 10 years from now?
Right.
And what are you doing right now, right? What are you doing right now for that plan 10 years from now? So if you got a plan a week from now, the work that you should, if you thinking about if you think about that thing that you want 10 years from now, and you need to do something today, if you have something that you need to accomplish next week, what type of force do you need to be putting into that activity?
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Or do we just not hope for big things? Do we just limit our expectations?
We limit it.
But that's what we keep doing. We look for the safe, bringing it down. We keep bringing our expectations down and limiting out what we want. And it's okay. This too bad. We know I want a mansion, bro. But I'm scared of big spaces because of scary movies. That's programming. Unlearn all of that bullshit. It has to do with frequencies, sonic tonalities, all that extra, bro. We need to. Why do we? Can you talk about? You do the fitness stuff very well, right? Why do we fast? What's the reason for fasting? What's the reason for cleansing the body? Because I just said we need to cleanse from all of that. We need to unlearn it.
It's like a refresh. So like you cleanse, you fast, you try to get rid of what you got in your body. You try to start anew. So
when you drink those drinks, the laxative drink,
you drink green juice.
Just come out.
You drink green juices. He's very good at drinking green juices and shakes, and it cleanse you.
That's like gout attack. Mad long,
Come on,
mad long.
Look how
I was getting them joints every 2 weeks. I stopped eating red meat. I stopped drinking soda. I stopped drinking the juice. I was about to get in deep.
Like, look how they design black people. Like, why we getting gout at 30? Why I got arthritis in both of my shoulders at 30? Why?
And then they will have you think that it's not manageable. People don't know how to have conversation. Like, I'm gonna see you get frustrated, and then I'm gonna keep talking. And keep continuing to frustrate you when you've already reached that limit of I can no longer process what it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
You need to stop. Let's address why you are in your bag. Why you about to pick chaos? If you notice when we talk, I'll be like, I'm gonna stop right here. You mad right now. What's so
Facts.
where we at?
Facts.
And then I do it with my wife too. We talking, right?
Yeah.
We talking, she say something. I acknowledge her real quick. Yo, I want to acknowledge you real quick. Right? And then you ticklish?
Why would you do something
I'm
like
not ticklish no
more? You not?
Yeah, my wife has trained me very well. Only she knows how to tickle. This is a lot of work.
Relax, my nigga. You do that. Chill.
Oh, she be tickling me in a bad way then.
Chill, bro. You not ticklish, bro?
She could tickle me?
You used to be like, took out of here.
You tickle.
Bro, you not ticklish,
so
bro?
let me show you guys something.
Nah, chill. It's tickle. Appreciate y'all tuning in again.
For sure.
It's Saturday who?
Saturday, huh?
Saturday what?
Saturday who?
Oh, yeah.
Word.
It's Saturday Who podcast.
Always head up.
We talked about the dichotomy today.
Word.
We talked about appreciating yourself and making choices of the path that you're going to be on.
Right.
Or making a decision.
Clearly, we both agree that you got to make the decision.
And we both didn't agree.
We agree on the decision is the path, right?
You agree
and then the choices are the many.
All right. whoever you agree with, right? I want y'all to tune in. The links are posted below. Subscribe.
The links are posted below.
Subscribe.
Yo, like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
And what else? And share.
And then
but the likes, we like your likes.
Most
right?
importantly,
what do they like?
I'm gonna be honest. We are artists, and we want to shape shift the world. So if you don't like or subscribe, whatever, like I'm not gonna be hurt. A million people will like and subscribe. This is not.
I'm gonna be real. This is for us. This is for us.
This is for change.
Our kids are gonna be able to look back and see
if
what
you
their fathers
don't
were doing.
like or subscribe, at least figure out what the fuck your dichotomy is and learn how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Like, do yourself a fucking favor. You sat here and watched this shit and you got to this part because we need to talk about that.
We'll see you next week. Leave her on the phone and see what she thinks about this. Don't say nothing real quick, Irene. Just listen to this.
You got mail.
You've got mail.
Saturday, huh?
Saturday what?
Saturday Who. Yo, welcome back to the Saturday Who podcast.
We here with Sheemie Dubb.
And my boy J.Walts.
Let's get it. We had to with this shit.
What you like? You like that? That was cool. That was cool.
Yeah, I know. We go over that.
She said the TV.
Be cool if the wives be on the podcast talking about why they love tickling us so much. Like what the pleasure is in it. Imagine we get mad husbands getting tickled, and then they what
There'll be a whole husband tickle claim.
Yeah. Oh.